it's Nina Madden here, your NLP Master Coach, teacher, healer, accredited trainer of NLP. And in this video, I wanted to teach you the NLP well-formed outcome conditions. So within classic NLP, the well-formed outcomes are a huge cornerstone. Sometimes people have NLP sessions and they'll come to me and they say, you know, it didn't really work for me, or it didn't really stick, or, it didn't. Most of the times people have had great experiences of NLP, but sometimes people come and say, well, it didn't work for me, or this. Most of the time when you scratch the surface a little bit is because they haven't had a well-formed, strong enough outcome set up for them in the beginning of the session. So the person's kind of NLP practitioner has gone into the session without setting up a really strong classic NLP well-formed outcome. So that's what I want to teach you in this video. So the NLP well-formed outcomes has 5 conditions attached to it. So this is kind of a checklist of 5 different things that you want to put your NLP well-formed outcomes through. Then attached to that, it has a specific set of questions which allow you to help the client to create an NLP well-formed outcome. And then as a third part of it, there's an outcome statement, which can be a very powerful anchor for the client to have, to create, and to bring with them from the session. And some incredible results have come about by having this outcome statement. Really extremely powerful. So the NLP well-formed outcome conditions, as I said, there are 5 conditions. One is that the outcome, the goal, needs to be stated in the positive. So let's say, for example, that you have a client who comes in and they want to find a new career. And they say to you, I feel really unfulfilled and I feel drained and I really don't like my current job. It's stressing me out. I'm so drained. I want to do something different. Help me out. So to create an outcome there, it's really important that you know what the client wants and not just what the client doesn't want. So you may want to dig deeper, and this is where the outcome questions that I'm also going to teach you are so important. So you want to dig deep and say, so you're feeling drained and you're feeling stressed out. So what is it that you really, really want? What is a fulfilling career for you? Very often clients will respond with more of the same. They say, well, it's just like I don't like the team and I don't like the commute. And so they give you more information in terms of what they don't want. But what you really need here is you need the outcome to be stated in the positive. So very often when NLP sessions are not that successful, let's say the person has anxiety around presentations, they come and they say, I want my I've got anxiety around presentations and I want to get rid of the anxiety. The practitioner says, okay, so let's create an outcome. What do you want? And the client again says, well, I just don't want to be anxious. Again, that's an outcome which is stated in the negative. What you want is an outcome that's stated in the positive. So, for example, with the career, the person might say, I want to go to a beautiful office where I feel calm and peaceful. I want to be helping people to make changes to their lives, to feel better, to deal better with their mental health. I want to have colleagues around me where we're all aligned to the same purpose. These are examples of outcomes which are stated in the positive. The presentation client might say, I want to be able to go up on the stage and feel comfortable and relaxed and calm, knowing that I know my material and knowing that I know exactly how to deliver it. I want to know and feel like I'm doing a good job. So those are 2 examples of something that's stated in the positive. The second outcome condition is that it needs to be sensory based. That means that we want to engage all the senses when we create the outcome, because this helps us to place the outcome strongly in the unconscious mind, and it helps us create a blueprint for what we're then going to create in real life. And it is so important to have a strong blueprint, because we tend to create what we expect, and we tend to do in real life what we're already doing in our minds. So by creating this blueprint, it's so much easier for your client to actually just step into that blueprint and start to create that in real life. And that's why it needs to be sensory based. For example, if I'm focusing in on anxiety when it comes to the presentation, that's what I'll create. If I don't know what I want, it's very difficult to hit a moving target, basically. So to create this in all the senses, there are the NLP well-formed outcome questions that you want to ask your client. So the outcome question is first addressing the visuals. Address the visuals in the client's mind. So the question you want to ask is, so when you've got what you want, notice that you're future pacing. If you've actually seen the video on future pacing, you'll recognize that this is a future pace. So I'm not saying if you get what you want, I'm saying when you got what you want. By doing that, I automatically place my client in their imagination in that future where they've got what they want. So I say, when you've got what you want, what will you see? What are the pictures around you? And I will help the client to create these pictures. Sometimes it comes really easy, as you've seen in some of my coaching videos. For the client, they know exactly what it is that they want. Sometimes it comes easy, they know all the pictures, but sometimes it's kind of difficult and you have to help the client to create these pictures. This is where things like vision boards can come really handy, because they can give us inspiration to what it is that we want to see when we've got what we want. So they say, when you've got what you want, what will you see? Make those pictures big and bright and colorful. Help the client be creative. Give them depth. Give them 3 dimensions. Make them life-size. Make them panoramic so they're all around you, above you and below you. It really creates that vivid imagery. Now, when you've got what you want, what will you hear? So this is adding the sounds attached. And when you've got what you want, what will you feel? And sometimes people will use conceptual words like, I will feel proud, I'll feel a sense of achievement. These words are all great, but you want to really get into it even more. So tell me, how does a sense of pride, how does that feel in the body? So you bring in that somatic experience and really get it into the kinesthetics as well. Get them to explain to you, how does pride feel? So that's the visual, the auditory, and the kinesthetic. But then also, when you've got what you want, what will you be saying to yourself? In NLP, we call it the AD. This is the self-talk. And this can be such a motivating force. And people will say, yeah, you did it, or things like that. So these are the well-formed outcome questions that help the client make it sensory-based. So putting it into the senses creates that blueprint. Very, very powerful. The third outcome condition is that it needs to be self-initiated. Sometimes parents will come and they'll say, you know, my goal is that I want my kids to be happy, which is obviously a great goal and makes total sense, but we need to create goals which can be and outcomes which are self-initiated. So how can we make that goal self-initiated? Well, it could be more about, I want to be the person who is there for my children when they need me, for example. So we make it about us. We can't make goals for other people. I can't make a goal for my partner, or my husband, or my friend. It has to be a goal for me. This is the third condition where we talk about it being self-initiated and self-maintained. A goal also needs to look at the current benefits that the client has and see if there's a way, at least addressing them. The current benefits, you try to maintain the current benefits or create a plan of action on how to address them. Sometimes we do have to sacrifice current benefits, but it's important to have a conversation about it. Let's say, for example, I'm in safe employment that's unfulfilling for me, and I want to start my own business. The current benefits of being in a safe employment is, of course, well, I actually think there is no such thing as a safe employment, and having your own business is a lot safer. That's my belief. So it does come down to beliefs. But if we talk about benefits, it may be that the person knows there's a regular paycheck so they can pay their mortgage. Whereas if you start your own business, it's risky, it's full of uncertainty, and you're basically living off on your own wits. So having the benefit of a full-time employment while starting a business may be almost impossible to maintain, but maybe there are some ways that you can go down part-time. Maybe you can transition. Maybe you could start your business on the weekends, or maybe you're going to go for the plunge and you've got some savings, but at least you need to raise those questions. So that's the fourth condition. And then the fifth condition is that the goal needs to be ecological. So you need to look at the goal and how it will impact the person's environment. So it needs to be positive for the person themselves, but also it's helpful if it's positive to the person's environment. So it's worthwhile looking at the environment and see how it affects the current environment of the person. So that's making the goal ecological. So those are the well-formed outcome conditions. I've also taught you the questions, to NLP well-formed outcome questions that you always need to ask to really create that strong, powerful goal that gives you the energy to push through, that gives you the juice for the session. Now, in an outcome statement, we like to write it down. So that's about taking a few of those sentences in a paragraph of what the client has said and creating a statement out of it where we can write down in the present tense this outcome. So the outcome statement is in present tense and it reads, it is, and then you want to put the date on the goal. So what date do you want the goal to have happened? So if it's a new business, you might want to start my new business in 6 months or 4 months or 2 months. So I could say it is, and then I write the date of when I want to have achieved it. So it is this date, and I am, or maybe I do, or maybe I have started my own business. And then as a final thing, you want to have an end statement. I know this to be true because my diary is full of clients and I've got a business bank account, I've got a website, and I've got it all going. So you need an end statement, an evidence point. And you write this out, sign it, and this becomes an outcome statement. It's very powerful. It helps the client have something to take away with them. And then it's also really cool because you can look back at your outcome statements and then you can see which ones you've achieved. So I actually have diaries full of outcome statements. Pretty much all of them have been achieved. So this is the NLP well-formed outcomes. If you want to know more about studying NLP with me, you're welcome to visit my website at ninamadden.com. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.